So a few days ago, I discovered some edible mushrooms starting to push out of a log in one of my foraging spots. They seemed a bit on the immature side, so I took the oldest of the bunch and left the rest to grow. I'm glad I did, because here's what I came back to. Most of the mushrooms were now as ready as they would ever be, so I immediately got to work harvesting them. When foraging for mushrooms like this, I typically clean them in the field, so to speak. Usually I trim off any bad parts, in this case the yellow spots of slime mold and any insect damage, and brush off any debris or soil. In this instance, the mushrooms were in very good condition, and I only had to discard maybe 5% of the total mass. These particular mushrooms are of the species Pleurotus austriatus, commonly known as oyster mushrooms. They are an easily identifiable mushroom with a delicate flesh and a smell and taste that hints of shellfish when they're cooked, in my opinion. They're one of the few edible species that one can find in this region during the winter, as they produce all year round. By the time I had finished, I had a sizable amount of oyster mushrooms, along with some woodier mushrooms I found nearby. I had enough for several meals, but tonight I was making pizza. I started by making the dough. 1½ cups of bread flour, a ½ cup of whole wheat flour, some salt, combine, a little bit of sourdough starter, in this case very stubborn starter, mix in 1 cup of water, then knead, let it rest and knead again, repeating until the dough is smooth and silky. After letting it rise, it was time to shape my pizza. A little bit of stretching, a little bit of tossing, and it's ready to go. I threw it into a cast iron pan, added the sauce, some garlic powder, fresh black pepper, then some cheese, making sure to cover most of the sauce. Next, I added some of the oyster mushrooms, cut up into pieces. Then another layer of cheese. More mushrooms, a bit of sliced garlic, and you guessed it, more cheese. I like some color on my pizza, so I added some fresh spinach as well. And last but not least, more cheese. Now into the oven at 450 degrees. And this is where the magic happens. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm gonna go have a slice of this with a glass of mead.